Welcome to rSlash, Am I the Butthole, where two parents steal their child's inheritance. Am I the butthole for embarrassing my stepdad in front of his family, saying that he's in my house? I'm a 17-year-old guy, and for the past few months, I haven't had a good relationship with my mom or stepdad. I'm angry at them because 2 years ago, when my dad passed away, he left me an inheritance that I'm supposed to get on my 18th birthday. I'm also getting survivor's benefits that my mom uses for me when I need things, so it's not like she uses the inheritance for me. They bought a house that we moved into. It was weird for me because we always lived in a 3-bedroom apartment. My stepdad is a substitute teacher and my mom's a part-time receptionist. They never even had enough money for vacation, but all of a sudden they had a large house out of nowhere. My mom looked guilty about it until she finally admitted they used some of what my dad left me to buy the house. I lost my mind. They tried to justify that it was for me too, and I asked them, does that mean they're moving out when I'm 18 and the house is going to be in my name? And they're like, no. That's what I thought. Supposedly the house is for me, but the max time that I'm going to live there is just a couple of months. There's still some money left, but I went to a cheap college. But still, I can't believe they used my money for something on themselves. That money could have helped me get my own damn house. Also, I think it's funny because my stepdad didn't like my dad because I was spending more time with him. That meant my mom had to pay my dad child support money. Sorry if this is a bit of a rant, but I'm asking if I was the butthole last Saturday when his family all came to stay at the house. They stayed Friday night, so it was next morning when I was getting ready to go to work. I made myself eggs in a hurry, and before I left, my stepdad asked me how come I didn't make more eggs for his family. I told him that I had to leave for work, so I didn't have time to make a big breakfast for everyone. He acted like it's not a big deal if I'm a little bit late because it's rare they have people over at the house. We started going back and forth because I'm not going to stop to make breakfast when he can do it for himself. Then he pulled, "Don't talk to me like that in my own house." By the way, there's no door between the kitchen and the living room, so his family could hear this entire argument. I loudly said that, actually, it's my house since you paid for it with my money that you stole from me. My mom is expecting me to apologize for embarrassing him in front of his whole family because after I left, they all had something to say about it. They'd already left by the time I got home, but you could feel the tension. He straight up ignored me. That's how bad it was. I don't feel like there's anything for me to apologize for, so that's why my mom thinks that I'm not being a good son and that I'm kind of a butthole. I want to know if others feel the same. Okay, let me be crystal clear, OP. You need to stop whatever you're doing right now and immediately go to a lawyer. What your parents did is illegal, amoral, completely wrong in every conceivable way. They stole your money, they stole your inheritance, and you deserve that money. Talk to a lawyer, tell them what happened, and he will get your money back. Don't apologize, don't fight with your parents. Just go to a lawyer, pay him, and get your money back. Outside of that, OP, you get 0 out of 5 buttholes. Your mother and your stepdad get 5 out of 5 buttholes. Stealing inheritance from a minor under their care is disgusting. Am I the butthole for making my sister-in-law pay above average rent for 1 bedroom? 2 years ago, my house burnt to the ground after being struck by lightning. Thankfully, it was during the day, so our 3 kids were at school and my husband and I were at work. We lost everything, but we were safe. It took almost 11 months for the insurance to pay out. The insurance covered 1 month worth of hotel stays, but after that, we were made to fend for ourselves, and the only option we had was to move in with my sister-in-law. She told us that we could have her spare room in her office space since she used neither of the rooms, and her stipulation was that we needed to purchase all of our own food and pay her $100 per week. By week 3, all of that changed. She suddenly decides we have to pay her $250 a week and we can only use 1 room. So all 5 of us were crammed into the smallest room she had, which was the size of a glorified closet space and didn't even fit a twin bed and a small dresser. We lived out of trash bags and slept on the floor. And for this, we had to pay close to $1,000 per month, and we still had to purchase all of our own food, despite her claiming my kids on her food stamps. She also had no bills outside of her land tax, electric, and heating. So essentially, we were paying her $1,000 a month so she could do leisure activities. It was the worst 8 months of my life. 3 months ago, my grandmother decided that she wanted to go to assisted living after a fall, and she transferred the deed of her house to me and basically said the house is mine now. It's a 5-bedroom farmhouse. My boys insist on sharing a room, so we have 2 extra bedrooms. Well, my sister-in-law lost her house last month due to her not paying her taxes for several years. And she asked me if her and her stepdaughter could stay with us until they got enough money to move down south. I said, sure, you can have 1 bedroom for $800 a month, and you have to buy and cook all your food separately because my daughter is vegan. She looked at me like I had 10 heads and said that she and her stepdaughter shouldn't be made to share a room when there are 2 extra rooms. And she said that she couldn't afford $800 a month in rent while still purchasing all of her own food. I said, neither could we, but we managed to cram 5 people into a glorified closet space while you were getting $1,000 and food stamps. Take it or leave it. She decided to leave. Now I'm being told that I'm childish. Am I the butthole? OP, this seems like a really cut and dry case of what goes around comes around. She took advantage of your desperation, so you can take advantage of her desperation. I'm giving her 3 out of 5 buttholes because she started it. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes because you just returned it. Am I the butthole for leaving in the middle of a celebration because of the toast my husband gave? I'm a 25-year-old woman, and I married my husband, who's 31, 3 years ago. I'm currently pregnant with our first baby together. We found out that it's a girl, and my in-laws wanted to invite us for dinner for a gender reveal announcement and celebration. We got there, and many different relatives came to congratulate us and celebrate. It was bigger than expected, which made me nervous because I'm not a fan of being around a lot of people. We sat at the dinner table, and I barely ate. I was feeling so much anxiety, and I was sort of upset that my husband didn't warn me about how many people were coming, but I tried to stay calm and collected. Anyways, after the announcement and in the middle of the celebration, my husband wanted to give a toast. He opened a bottle, poured a drink, and wished that our daughter be healthy, happy, but look nothing like OP. Everyone at the table laughed. I sat there staring in shock while he kept laughing with them. I felt so much rage, and my anxiety got out of hand, not gonna lie. I got up, took my purse, and made my way out. His mom followed me asking if I was okay, and I told her that I just wanted to go home. He came to the door asking what was wrong, and that's when we started arguing. He said it was a joke toast and that my reaction was over the top, but the thing is, ever since I got pregnant, he keeps hinting that he doesn't want our daughter to look like me. One time, he got up in the morning, and the first thing he told me was how much he wished our daughter looked nothing like me. It hurt me because I was already dealing with low self-esteem and anxiety. I wanted to go home, but he said that I was being a baby and that I should learn to take an effing joke. I said that he made everyone laugh at me, but he defensively said that it didn't warrant me to walk out of dinner and to be so disrespectful to the relatives who came to celebrate and share our joy. I went home, and he called me many times telling me to get my insecurities in check before I passed them on to my daughter. He urged me to get therapy and to stop acting so dramatically like I did in front of his family. I think that leaving dinner wasn't the best solution, but I just got overwhelmed. OP, the more of your story I read, the worse it got. This guy invited his entire family to crack a joke about, that his pregnant wife is ugly? That's not a joke, that's just mean. I mean, to be honest, I would call this emotional abuse. I'm sorry that you're having a kid with this guy, OP, because this is a major red flag. Let's hope that your daughter doesn't inherit her father's toxic traits. I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving your husband 3.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling a family to fly private? I was recently flying from New York City to LAX for a work trip, and I had the displeasure of sitting next to a family and a 9-year-old little boy. I got on the plane in the midst of issues with my diabetes, and I needed to eat within 2 hours, so I began snacking. I immediately began receiving dirty looks from the mother who said, "Can you not do that? Our son." So I put my food away and figured I'd just wait until the flight attendant came around so I could buy food from her and eat at an acceptable time just to show some respect for their wishes. So the flight attendant comes by with her beverages and snacks, and I start to ask for a Coke and a snack box. But before I can finish the sentence, the father says, "Nothing for this row. We're all set here." And she continues on. I press the call light so I can get my food and drink because I actually need it, and the father says, "Our son has Prader-Willi. We'd prefer it if you don't eat because it causes tantrums when he doesn't know he can't eat and he's always hungry." As a quick aside, Prader-Willi syndrome is a genetic disorder, and people who have it constantly feel hungry. I'm close to a tantrum myself at this point, so I look the father in the eye and say, "I don't care. Fly private if you want to control your surroundings." The flight attendant comes back and I get my food and drink. I scarf it down, chug my soda, and sit back. As soon as I've calmed down, I'm able to open up my laptop and get back to work, and the mother leans in and says, "I feel a calling to educate you about my son's disease." And I felt my entire body clench up. She keeps talking to me, explaining how I'd made her son feel, and I said, "Listen, lady, I don't effing care. I'm going to handle my type 1 diabetes the way that I see fit, and you're going to handle your son the way that you see fit. I'm not going to endanger myself because you don't want to deal with a tantrum. If you want to control other people, then either book all the seats in a row or effing fly private." I told the story to a friend of mine once I'd gotten off the plane, and she immediately told me that I was a huge butthole and I should have given them a little bit of grace due to their son's condition. I kind of feel bad, but at the same time, I think that it's unavoidable. If you're going into public, you're going to be around others. So am I the butthole? Yeah, this is really weird. Even if you didn't have diabetes, if you didn't have some medical need to eat, then it still would have been reasonable for you to eat food. The people sitting next to you can't dictate your behavior simply by virtue of the fact that they're sitting next to you and their lives would be inconvenienced if you didn't listen to them. You're right. If they care that much about controlling their surroundings, then they can pay for that privilege. And what did they expect? This is a plane, and they serve peanuts and sodas on plane. They have meals if it's long enough, so of course there's going to be food. What did they expect to happen? What do they do in the movie theater? "Okay, everyone, listen up. I need there to be no popcorn in the theater because it would upset my son, so make sure you throw your popcorn away before the movie starts. Thanks." OP, I'm giving you 0 out of 5 buttholes. I'm giving the parents 1.5 out of 5 buttholes. Am I the butthole for telling my soon-to-be niece that she doesn't need to wear a dress to my wedding? I'm a 32-year-old woman, and I'm getting married to my fiancé, a 41-year-old male, next year. After we got engaged, I suggested that it might be nice if I asked my fiancé's niece, who's 15, if she wanted to be a bridesmaid too. I've only met her a couple of times, so we're not close, but she seemed like a cool kid, and I thought that it might be a nice way for us to bond / get to know each other / involve her in the wedding. Anyway, cut to a few weeks ago, and we're in my fiancé's hometown to visit his family and discuss wedding-related stuff. His brother, sister-in-law, and their daughter came over, and I noticed this time that she was dressed a lot more androgynous than I remembered. The topic moved to wedding dresses and bridesmaids' dresses, and I could see that she was immediately uncomfortable. Her parents, specifically her mom and grandma, were making comments about how she needed to be more feminine and brush her hair, and it'd be nice to see her like that. I'll be honest and say this hit a nerve with me, as I was very much a tomboy as a teenager, even though I'm not anymore, and it absolutely broke me whenever my relatives would say things like that. Eventually, her mother made a comment along the lines of, "It'll be nice to see you dressed like a girl for once." And the niece looked really sad, embarrassed, and upset. In response, because that really hit a nerve, I immediately told her that my maid of honor would be wearing a trouser suit for the wedding and not a dress, and that I'd given all the bridesmaids the option of wearing anything they want as long as it's in the wedding color to make things easier. I pulled out my phone and started showing her photos of the ideas my friend had sent me, and I let her know that she could pick anything at all that she wanted. She could even wear jeans and trainers if that made her comfortable. It's a wedding, not a fashion show. My niece perked up a bit when I said that, but her mom looked really pissed off. She's since asked my fiancé to pressure me into getting all the bridesmaids' dresses so their daughter will have to wear one, which, lol, no. My husband doesn't care at all about what his niece wears, but obviously also doesn't want his family and me to be arguing on the wedding day. I don't want to back down because I know what it feels like to be pressured into wearing something that makes you uncomfortable, but on the other hand, I know it's only for a day and it would make the family happy. Am I the butthole for trying to overrule her parents? OP, you're not trying to overrule her parents. You're trying to have your wedding the way that you want your wedding to be. This is your wedding. When they get married, they can have whatever rules they want to have. But if you want to have your bridesmaids wear a trouser suit, then you get to have your bridesmaids wear a trouser suit. OP, I say stand your ground on this one. You get 0 out of 5 buttholes. The mother in this gets 2 out of 5 buttholes. That was rSlash Butthole, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button because I put out new Reddit videos every single day.